Hey, so quick thing before we begin. So last week I hit a power outage, and since my laptop is kind of crap, my battery won't charge anymore. So we're gonna work on getting a cord. But for this week, we have a special guest animator. Woo! This is Jumba the Panda, everyone. You know her as my girlfriend Kat, but yeah, Jumba the Panda, everyone. Yeah, that's her off in the distance. You'll hear. Anyway, on with the video! Hey everyone, my name's Trapixium, and this week we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna review a product that came out last week that not only I pre-ordered, but was asked to review by some others to get my opinion on it. Let's talk about War of the Spark, Ravnica. Yes, the first Magic the Gathering book we've had in 5 years. This book has been a long time coming. About as long time coming as Bolas's plan to conquer the multiverse. This is a fantastic point to introduce Vorthoses to the general public, but the question is, did it pay off? Let's get into it. Alright, so I want to start off by saying the community reaction to this book has been very mixed. People either outright hate this book. Personally, I'm in the middle of the road with it, as is the other half of the community. But is it bad? Yeah, it's kind of bad. But I don't think it's meant to be. Let's bear in mind the time frame we're working with. For the past 5 years, we've had no books. One had to be written in 9 months in order to correlate with the set's release. And also, one other thing. The book was released after spoiler season. After spoiler season! What the Nix Wizards? Let me get this straight. The one spoiler season you decide to tell a story and be clever, you also decide, hey, let's release a book. No wonder why half the people who read this book felt cheated. We have already heard this story. If you paid any modicum of attention to spoiler season, you didn't just spoil the cards, you spoiled the book itself. I'm never gonna let that go either. You spoiled your own book. I was gonna make a video about outside companies like Goldfish and Hipsters spoiling the book was in bad taste, but I decided not to after I realized A, that would be really petty and stupid, and B, you did far worse to yourself. Alright, so some quick things out the gate. The book is exposition heavy. Clearly, it was made that way to catch up anyone who has never read a Magic book or knows anything about the story. Is it accessible? Yes, but it suffers as a result. Each decision made to make the book more accessible comes to its detriment. You spent the whole preamble explaining who everyone was and what the guilds are. Also, think for a second how bland and boring these characters sound by their textbook definitions. Gideon sounds like a tragic character in video games that is definitely gonna die first. What the nix? That's not Gideon. Jace sounds boring, and most of the Gatewatch do too. Even during the Battle of District 10, Planeswalkers show up out of nowhere, just to disappear for most of the story and then being noted as definitely surviving and leaving. Final thing I want to point out is the misuse of Rat, okay? Some quick context. Most of the book takes place from the perspective of a new Planeswalker named Teo. Teo's a good kid, I like Teo. He is accompanied by a walking, talking exposition box known as Rat. Rat could have been something super interesting, okay? She is a guildless who isn't hostile and could have been a fun analog to explore Ravnica with. What did we get? Pages worth of exposition. For the love of Xenagos, Weissman, show, don't tell. This is the worst way to explain Ravnica to people. I'm not even a published author, okay? And I can do better. Make Rat take him around the city. If she's practically invisible, as you say she is, it doesn't matter. Take him around the city and show him Ravnica. Don't tell him about Ravnica. Describe what Teo sees, not what Rat is telling him. Character motivations are simplified for this, and some of them don't have any at all, but their personalities are untouched. But it sucks to see Jace go from caring about Liliana because of their tumultuous history and has made him believe he could perhaps somehow redeem her to, I want to kill her. But she's so hot! Karn is no longer a pacifist, and I feel like WotC went from, hey, here's our giant lovable silver golem to, who wants to see Karn use his arms like sledgehammers? Don't even get me started on Domri. So, let me get this straight. The leader of the Gruul clans, the guild that hates order and law and kowtows to no one, decides to go serve someone. Get out of here with that Azorius crap. Some characters do move forward in their story, okay? Niv Mizzet becomes the guild pact after Jace's inactivity on Ravnica means he's vacated office. Ral is in love with Tomik, and it's really cute. Chandra finally admits to Nissa that she loves her, and wouldn't you know it, Nissa loves Chandra. These are great character moments. These changes are nice, and I think it adds to what we have quite well. It's just the narrative itself is kinda sluggish. It suffers a lot from exposition repeating the same lines over and over. If I removed most of the descriptions of the Eternals dying, the chapters would be pages long. The worst part is some of these characters being there makes no sense whatsoever. Nahiri appears first, then Soren does, and they don't instantly want to kill each other. What? How the Knicks? These two hate each other. And you mean to tell me for the sake of beating Bolus, they put it all aside? Bull. Ob Nixilis is in the same room as the Gatewatch, and he doesn't even try to kill them. No, that's not how this works. Don't give me that greater evil crap either, wizards. The Eldrazi was a greater evil, but guess what Ob interrupted in order to regain his spark? Yeah, my point exactly. Now, I'm not gonna say this book has all bad character moments. We do get some good ones, notably, of course, they do send Gideon off on a good note. Liliana's reaction is fitting, and so are the rest of the characters. It's just, again, most of them are oddly quiet, okay? Vivian saw Bolus die, I'll get to that in a minute, but she didn't react. There was nothing, just a straight face, and then left. What? Bolus destroyed your home! Emote! The book jets between perspectives, and some of these perspectives are really nice. It's just some of them are superfluous. Sometimes switching to Ral is pointless unless it's really just dealing with Tomek or just detailing his end of the plan. The plot is probably the most generic thing in the world. Planeswalkers team up, fight the Eternals, gather the guild representatives to summon the newly deadified Niv Mizzet, that was never explained by the way, to beat Bolus, who is charging the Elder Spell. My main gripe with this plot is that it's boring. Seriously, I fell asleep in the middle of the first read-through. It may have been 6:30 a.m., but I've stayed awake through less. The worst part is, I didn't need to read those pages. I didn't miss anything. You could have slept for 3 hours in the middle of the book and you wouldn't have missed a thing. You want to know what I missed? Dovin left and they turned off the sun and gathered some of the guild reps. That's it. Seriously, what the heck? I woke up just in time for Ixava to bring back one of the Rakdos reps. One thing I want to touch on in particular is the fact that we have so many planeswalkers. 36 if you recall. And only 3 died. 3! Gideon, Domri, and Dak. What the nix? The excuse was, it's a bunch of other randomly or newly sparked walkers. There's a Viashino walker. You gave me a Viashino walker and did nothing with it. So wasteful. In bringing in randos, you have taken away any stakes the War of the Spark had, and just made it boring. Such a brazen use of plot armor. It's so blatant that Thanos just tried to dust the planeswalkers and they all just got air cans. What? It's all dusty. With that being said, the ending of the book, as I said prior, is pretty good, which leads way to what will probably be the next big conflict of the story. Alright, so after Gid sacrifices himself to save Liliana, she planeswalks off, and that also means Tezzeret and Dovin and Liliana are at large. Niv Mizzet sends Vraska, Ral, and Kaya to bring them back to Ravnica to be tried. Meanwhile, during the big fight, what everyone saw was Bolus die in the same way Gideon died, as the curse somehow also took Bolus, so he faded into dust. As it turns out, that was Jace doing his whole mental manipulation thing, and what everyone didn't see was that was all under Ugin's order. See, ironically enough, Ugin actually took Bolus back to the meditation realm where he will stay until his death with Ugin as his jailer. And for the first time, we see Bolus humble. That alone for me was worth it, but what I had to go through in order to get to it was decidedly not worth it. My final rating for Magic the Gathering War of the Spark Ravnica is a 6 out of 10. No, it's not the best written story or the best formatted, but its character moments and ending is enough for me to call it not outright garbage, in my opinion, but WotC needs to step up their game for the confirmed sequel that comes out in the fall. I need better storytelling for this kind of price point. So help me, WotC, if you don't deliver,
I will burn you to the ground like Akros.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and tell me what you think of the book in the comments below. And if you want to revel with me and Xenagos, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, may the Lotus watch over you.